My sister Kelly lost her husband 1 year ago, and in the aftermath, reached out to my husband, Dave, for help. They hung out a lot without me, and I remember coming home to find them sleeping in our bed. Neither of them understood why I was angry. They weren't facing each other and were clothed. Regardless, it made me uncomfortable, and I asked Kelly to leave. The next day, my husband invited her over without saying anything. I remember opening the door to her crying, and she ran into his arms before anyone said anything. She demanded I leave the room as she had something to say but didn't feel comfortable telling me. I teared up and went to the other room. Then, I heard Kelly. It was none other than the sounds of loud love-making. I got up and went in, and I could not believe what I saw. They were making out. My entire world shattered right in front of my eyes. I ran out because I was going to vomit right there and locked myself in my room. An hour later, Dave walked in and wouldn't even look at me. He mumbled something and sat on the bed. I was so angry that he wouldn't even look at me that I almost left right there. I asked him what the hell was going on with him and my sister. He sat there for a few minutes without saying anything while I cried my eyes out. Finally, I yelled at him to answer me. He whispered that he loved her. At this point, I lost it. I started yelling. How could he do this to me? Did these past 10 years mean nothing to him? I literally dropped to my knees and asked, how could you betray me with my own sister and then tell me you love her? He was quiet the entire time until I stopped yelling. Then he said that he had been regretting not experimenting with other women before we got married, and that he shouldn't have married the first girl he was with. I was stunned and asked if he had ever even loved me. He said yes, but after spending time with my sister, he realized she was who he wanted to be with. I had no words. I didn't have any clue what to say. My whole life was falling apart in front of my eyes, and I was scared. In that moment, I dropped a bombshell on him. I told him I might be pregnant. It was the truth. He didn't freak out, however, and said that he would support me. He also said he was leaving me to go be with my sister. He apologized and told me I deserved better than him, and that he would do whatever he could to help me and the baby. He said if I agreed to divorce him, he would give me everything. He just wanted out of our marriage. In that moment, I felt like I hated him and never wanted to see him again. I screamed at him, fine, just get the F out. You ruined my life. I hope you are effing happy. You piece of crap. Then he had the audacity to try to hug me. I flipped out and pushed him off of me. Someone knocked on the door, and he told me he still loved me and that we would figure everything out. Then he left. I decided to call my parents and tell them what happened. My mom dropped a bombshell on me. My sister had already told her that she had feelings for my husband and that she wanted to be with him. Right now, I am sitting at the computer looking up lawyers in my area. Update 1. I woke up this morning feeling like complete crap and didn't want to get up. I went and got a pregnancy test, and thank God, I am not pregnant. It was bittersweet because we had been trying to get pregnant for a while, and I never thought I'd be so glad to see I wasn't. A little while later, I left the house to get groceries. When I opened my mailbox, there was a letter in it from Kelly. After I got home, I opened it and read it. It said she apologized for how things turned out and explained that she was very vulnerable after losing her husband. After spending so much time with my husband, she started to fall for him. She thought she would never love anyone else again. So when she realized she loved my husband, she knew she couldn't let him go. She claimed no one else could fill the hole in her heart except him. Kelly promised they never physically did anything before the kiss I caught them in. She went on to say she needed me in her life and hoped I could forgive her. I can't write any more about this right now. I might add the rest later. I am a mess. Dave also called me a little while ago. I didn't pick up the phone, so he texted me and told me that he still loves me and that we can find a way to work this out. I don't know what the F that means since he just left me for Kelly. Now I'm really confused because now that I'm not pregnant, I want to be, and I want my marriage to not be over. Even though I hate him for what he's done to me. Why would he text me that? Is he changing his mind? I am so confused. I wish these past few days never happened so there would be nothing wrong. Still, I know I shouldn't forgive him if he wants another chance, but 10 years of marriage. We were going to be parents. I am so confused and hurt I can't even think straight. Update 2. I talked to my mother again, and she informed me that she has known about my sister having a thing for my husband for quite some time. She didn't want to tell me because she said she was trying to get my sister to give up the idea and didn't want me to be hurt. She said she got my sister to agree to let it go a few months ago and never heard anything more about it, so she thought it was over. In the letter I got in the mail, I didn't want to write it all down because it was very painful. A few days have passed, and I am ready to share more. In the letter, Kelly apologized for her behavior but also went on to blame me. She said that I flaunted my happiness with my husband in front of her. She wrote that she couldn't stand to see how happy we were and how much he genuinely loved me when she had no one. She also went on to say that my husband told her he never really loved me, that she was the one he truly wanted to be with, and that I should not contact him. She insisted that if I wanted to say anything to him, I should go through her. Kelly also wrote that she would bring over the divorce papers in a few weeks. I have had a few days to process this information, but the more I think about it, the more confusing it seems. Today, I got more shocking news. Kelly is pregnant. She says it's Dave's. Dave called me as soon as he heard that my father informed me. I picked up the phone because I wanted to hear how he could lie to my face and tell me nothing happened between them before that kiss. He told me that he was so sorry and that he didn't want it to happen this way, that my father wasn't supposed to tell me. I started crying and asked him how he could get Kelly pregnant when we were trying for a baby. Then he said something that stunned me so much, my head is still spinning. Dave told me he could still get me pregnant if I wanted. I screamed at him. Why the F would I want to be pregnant with your child when you're a piece of crap? He told me he wanted to be with both me and my sister and that he thinks he is polyamorous. I was so shocked that I started laughing. After I stopped laughing, he tried to say something else. But then I heard Kelly enter the room and ask who he was on the phone with. He said, nobody, and hung up. A little later, my sister texted me, saying she would bring over the divorce papers in a week and expected me to sign them on the spot as my husband is giving me everything. She gave me a heads up that they are getting married next month and that I am invited to the wedding, if I agree to pretend like I was never even romantically involved with my husband. I am literally at such a loss right now. Who the F is this man, and where is the one I married? Why the F, after all this crap, do I still want to be with him even though I know I can't be? I just want the man I've been with for the past 10 years back. I hate Kelly and no longer consider her my sister. She has ruined my entire life. But what do I do about my husband? He just texted me right now, saying he still wants to be with me, loves me and wants a baby with me. Why is he doing this to me? Why am I even considering it? Update 3. I am deeply ashamed to write this and admit it, but after Dave hung up that call, his offer got more and more tempting. I started thinking about it and became enraged at my sister for doing what she did to me. I began to think that I could get back at her by taking Dave back, throwing it in her face that her new boyfriend doesn't love her more than me, after all. I was so angry that I heavily considered doing it. The more I thought about it, the more I wanted to, out of sheer petty revenge. Don't get me wrong. I also wanted my husband and my life back. But the thought of seeing my sister's newfound happiness and smugness over me come crashing down gave me a pleasure I never imagined. I know I should have just blocked Dave on everything, but I couldn't. The more he tried, the harder it was for me to resist. Unfortunately, this resulted in us getting back together. I told him I wouldn't stay with him unless he left my sister. He swore up and down that he loved me more than anything, that losing me made him realize it, and that my sister meant nothing to him. Everything between us felt amazing again, like the old days, like my sister didn't even exist when he was with me. But every night, he would go back to her. Foolishly, I decided to believe him when he said he was just waiting for the right time. Excuse after excuse came about how bad he felt for her, and I kept turning a blind eye to it all. Things felt so much better when he was with me, and I didn't want to lose him again. Unfortunately, I ended up getting pregnant because I hadn't restarted my birth control after we stopped trying for a baby before all of this happened. At the time, we were both ecstatic. It seemed like a dream come true. I had my husband back, we were having a child, and my life was no longer in pieces. I was so happy that I ignored everything wrong with the situation. I didn't want to see it. I just wanted to stay happy. It wasn't long before Kelly found out, and my entire family turned on me. My parents told me it seemed like I did this just to retaliate and hurt Kelly. They weren't completely wrong, but I mainly just wanted my old life back. Kelly went absolutely berserk. She threatened me and sent a flood of harassing texts, emails, and calls. I endured hell from her and my family for months until I finally had to get a protective order. This only made my family hate me even more. Now, none of them will speak to me. Dave has been issued an ultimatum by them to cut me off or be cut off. He hasn't decided what to do yet, but it seems like he is leaning toward cutting me off, as he has been communicating with me less and less over the past few weeks. There has been mounting pressure from the family for him to finalize the divorce, but it hasn't happened for various reasons. The last thing he told me was that he feels bad, but he loves her. He even insinuated that I tempted him into trying to get back with me, which is complete nonsense. He was the one who kept pursuing me. Dave said I shouldn't have gotten pregnant because now I've made his life harder. How I let myself believe he was the man I married again is beyond me. Now all I see is how clouded my judgment has been and the utter mess I've gotten myself into. I wanted to be happy again so badly that I destroyed my life even more trying to get that back. I'm 8 months pregnant and scared. I don't know how I can raise this baby alone. I don't want to give her up for adoption. And the pain of losing my husband twice is unbearable. Even though I know it was because of my own mistakes, I still love him and can't believe everything he has done to me. Losing my entire family over this has also been devastating. Most of our mutual friends have distanced themselves from us because no one wants to take sides, but it's obvious they are disgusted with how things turned out. I have no one left now.